2 minutes.
Okay. Can you brief me about the audience?
Yes, sir.
Like, yeah, like who will be participating in this mostly?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sir, so basically, we are live streaming this in YouTube, and also
Mm-hmm.
the people from our campus, like IIT Bhubaneswar, will be attending it here.
Okay.
Everyone has a basic thoughts of entrepreneur, and some people like, who are willing to start their own startups will also be attending this.
Okay.
Can we start, sir?
Just give me a minute. I want
Yeah,
to
sure, sure.
share a presentation. Okay. Share screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Okay, then we can go live then.
Sir, uh, just 2 minutes, sir. We'll be starting.
Okay. So will it be an interactive session? Like people will get to ask questions?
No, sir. Actually, we have collected questions from the audience, and so I'll be asking them from on behalf of the audience.
Okay.
Uh, so, good morning to one and all present here, and we, E-Summit, welcome you and all the participants attending live. I'm Shamita, a core team member of E-Summit. We welcome you all to the guest talk on entrepreneurship, leadership, and new venture creation being held as a part of the 8th edition of E-Summit IIT Bhubaneswar. Now, in this talk, Mr. Aditya Singh will share his views. I'm really honored to introduce our speaker. Aditya Singh is an entrepreneur, consultant, global shaper, strategist, thinker, public and TEDx speaker. He is the founder and chairman of Alexis Group, India's leading federation of youth organizations bound by the common motto of passion for excellence. He earned a Master of Science in International Management with merit from the Department of Strategy and Organization and a gold level certificate in entrepreneurship from the Hunter Centre of Enterprise, Strathclyde Business School in University of Strathclyde, Glasgow. He also served as the president of Bharat Sansthan at the university in the year 2014 to 15. He is also a very active social and environmental activist. He participated in nationwide cancer control program which included awareness mission and fundraising and presented a research project and model on rainwater harvesting, storage and conservation at National Children's Science Congress. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, and I thank the organizers for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to interact with the students.
Sir, can you please share your views on the topic entrepreneurship, leadership, and new venture creation?
Sure. So, see, entrepreneurship, leadership, and new venture creation, all three are interconnected. And these topics are very wide. So, today, in interest of time, I will be covering a very important segment, which is creativity and innovation. Creativity and innovation is the core of entrepreneurship. So, if we talk about entrepreneurship, there are various angles to it, and creativity and innovation is, you can say, the heart of entrepreneurship or the heart of new venture creation, right? So I will be in today's journey, I will be taking you through four things. One, we will be talking about what is creativity and innovation, and then we will be talking about how the idea and opportunity are there, and then I'll talk about a model which is called the business model canvas, how you can build your ideas into a business model, and then how you can proceed and build it into a business plan, and finally into an organization. Uh, I, I I must tell you in advance that all these things require a lot of detailing, but in interest of time, I will not be able to give you many details today. The purpose of today's talk is to throw light on different aspects. And what I will be doing today is that I will be explaining you or in brief or giving you an overview of different aspects of entrepreneurship, leadership, and new venture creation. And this will serve as a strong foundation for you to start your own ventures. And as and when you are going to start up, if you will take note of these points, they will be helpful in starting up your entrepreneurial journey, right? So let's start. So first thing in entrepreneurship is creativity, right? And what do we mean by creativity? So how can you be creative? So it links with our mindset mostly. So if you are a person who has a problem solving mindset, it you can look for opportunities in various situations. You will be able to be a better entrepreneur, right? So if you are able to connect the dots in unrelated events and facts, and then you can create business ideas. So this is in simple terms, it's called brainstorming. If you're seeing things and you think that these things are not working well, how you can, with your knowledge, your connects, and your ideas. So, if you want to bring change, creativity is core of bringing change, right? So, if you see these things from a positive bent of mind, I think you are more likely to create business ideas. So, there are some people who will just look at things and complain that this doesn't work. Uh, but if you have this mindset that I have to make it work, then it is called a entrepreneurial mindset and not a complaining mindset, right? So this positive, negative, it's one is a mindset which is positive, which you want to create things, and another is that you just want to whine about things, right? Then what is the difference between creativity and innovation, right? So innovation essentially means practical application of creativity, and in entrepreneurship specifically, creativity and innovation leads to new processes, new products and services that create value for customers, value for society at large. Then I was talking about mindset, and these are some theories from psychology which talk about our different uh, part of the brain which works better for specific things. So essentially, it is said that either you are a person who has right side of the brain, if it is working, you will be more successful in art, music, intuition, and holistic thought. And if your left side is more strong,
Sir, your voice is breaking.
basically, uh, it's not that it's divided like in this diagram. This is just shown for simple
Excuse me, sir.
explanation, right? Your mind works in entirety. This is a psychological theory. One and it depends how you balance things, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Then
Sir, your voice is breaking.
we talked about creativity and innovation, how we can actually what is not letting you to be creative. So first thing to achieving any is to identify barrier. Two, first you need to identify barriers, because once you identify the barriers, only then you will be able to. There was a network issue. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, let me continue from there. So, traveling, I was talking about traveling. Traveling widens your horizon. Uh, Reading also helps. You should read books, blogs, and then there are a lot of MOOCs now available, which are massive online courses. You should attend the courses which are in the field which you find interesting. You should watch informative videos. You should interact with people. Interaction also leads to a lot of idea exchange, and that helps you to enhance your creativity. And you should observe nature. Nature itself provides for so many things. If you admire and observe nature carefully, I think that is very helpful for you to enhance creativity. Then there are some uh, very specific exercises which we do in startups or in business schools, uh, which also help you to enhance creativity, such as brainstorming, scenario planning. In scenario planning, you create four scenarios of uh, and you kind of model things that what happens if this is the case one and this is the case two, this is the case three and case four. Two cases you take on the extremes, two cases you take on one side, having larger uh, say in that, and one negative and one positive, right? Then you do role playing, you do mind mapping, all these things you can actually Google and or go to YouTube and find out. You'll find a lot of things. This presentation was made long back, so some of things have developed, but things remain the same. It's still very relevant in today's time. Okay, so now we come to identifying ideas, because it is the ideas which will actually lead to you to identify trends. So first thing is, if you have to identifying ideas, you have to be a good observer, and you have to observe trends. And these trends look like demographic trends, social trends. So if I talk about demographic, right? Demographic essentially means that, say, if the population of India is young, so we will create product and services. If we want to create for a large or mass market, we would like to create products for a youth audience. Say, in case of Japan, where the population is aging, there we can have there is a big market for products which are meant for old age people. And similarly, then it is social. So in social, especially if you want to here with the trends, it is essential that you have to decide whether you want to go in a mass market or you want to go in a niche market. So niche essentially means a small size of market, where mass India, some things socially not allowed. Different countries within the country, also from state to state, right? Then there are economic reasons that in some states, a population, or in some countries, a population may be very well off. So you can price the products slightly higher. In some states, people might not be so well off. So you have to price it accordingly. You have to create products accordingly. Then level of technological advancement, level of environmental, and then regulations, right? So if regulations essentially means that what the law permits or not, right? So you have to observe all these things, and unless you observe all these things, it is very difficult to generate ideas. Like, you can generate ideas sometimes. See, when we are talking in theoretical terms, what happens is we tend to put things in brackets. But when you are actually thinking, a lot of these things come with experience, and a lot of things you have to deliberately do to be in this kind of chain of thoughts, if you want to generate, right? So for me, that now that I've been teaching this for over 15 years, I for me, observing trends is a now a nature, part of my nature, or part of. But for you as a student who may be in the first year, uh, may observe trend in one or two segments, but not all, because you might not be aware of a lot of things, right? But as you grow old, you do read, you travel, you meet people, you watch content, you tend to observe trends, and some people may do it even at an early age, right? It's not related to age, it's more related to the diversity of experiences, and how you have and your nature especially. Then the second thing is effectuation processes, which is essentially the cause and effect relationship, where for every cause, what is the effect, right? Uh, then the third thing which we talk about is entrepreneurial thinking, where you actually think that you start with what you have, right? That let me start with what I have and then build my boat as I sail. And the third is, fourth one is the strategic thinking, where you set a goal. And so all these things cannot be done separately. They have to be done together to actually get into a process of idea setting. And once you have come up with the idea, then you will evaluate ideas, and that I will take you through the next slide, which talks about evaluating ideas. So the ideas, once you have done that exercise, which I was telling you in the previous slide, you then evaluate your ideas. And evaluation is done on three things, and these are desirability, feasibility, and viability, right? Desirable, whether what you want to do is what you really want to do, right? And whether the society will accept it. Then the feasibility angle comes, that uh, you may want to do something, but whether in the given conditions or circumstances, is it feasible to do? And then the viability angle, or the profitability angle comes, whether doing it will be sustainable, or will be profitable, and you will be able to make money, right? Because essentially, if you're doing entrepreneurship, in the end, you need to make money. If you're not making money, then it's not viable business or viable business idea, right? So, see, we were talking about ideas. Firstly, we identified ideas, then we evaluated our ideas, and then we convert those ideas into opportunities. So this is a funnel, and so when you start the process of identifying ideas, you will have hundreds of ideas which you would want to pursue, right? And that is your input side. And But if you try to solve all there are multiple problems in the world, right? But you cannot solve all the problems together, because you have limited resources, right? Even the richest people in this world, have a resource constraint, and they cannot solve all the problems, right? Or they don't want to solve all the problems, if you put it that way. So you also have to choose your battles or words carefully, and specifically, you have to think that the ideas which you have, you will have to rank them, and at different phases in your journey. So the first phase is the discover and explore, where you are discovering various ideas, and you will be discovering at that stage that how you can create value, right? Then the second stage is pursue and plan, where you will actually, after evaluating ideas, you will decide on few ideas that these may be the ones which are working or workable, and I can actually go on and capture value, right? Capture value essentially here means that the value which you are creating, you are able to communicate it to the person or customer, right? Then, once you have planned, you go on to launch, and at that time, the value which you have captured, you are able to deliver that value, right? The customer should feel that he got that value, and then only you will be a sustainable business. Otherwise, there will be complaints, there will be a backlash, and that time, once you have launched, after that you have to pivot continuously. Pivot in the sense that you will have to be continuously innovating and improving your product, improving your services, adding more services if required, adding more products in your portfolio if required, right? And that's how you convert your ideas into an opportunity, right? So, what does opportunity actually mean? So, opportunity actually means a new product, a new service, a new means of production, a new way of distributing a product or service, right? So essentially, it can be a radical improvement, it could be a new combination, and it could be a hybrid of the above, right? I think this slide doesn't need much explanation, because it's very simple to understand. You could create a new product, essentially, uh, which can solve a problem which is not already existing in the market. A new service essentially is a service which is not existing in the market, and you create a marketplace for that. Means of production simply means that you produce a existing product in a different way, right? Earlier we used to have bulbs, right? Then we had LCDs. Then we had CFLs, and then we have LED. Similarly, for monitors or for screens, we had first CRT monitors, then we had LCDs, and then we have LEDs now, right? And then the technology is progressing day by day, and we have. Then earlier for books, we used to have bookshops. Now we have Amazon also, right? You don't need to go out and buy books. Books get delivered to you. So the way of distributing the product or service has changed, right? Then for similarly for grocery, similarly for food delivery, similarly for in financial sector also, you can say fintech products have come up. Banks are not only the players now. Apart from bank, there are other players also. So see, now that you have built your idea into opportunity, in this business model canvas will be essentially very helpful for you, right? One is the first one is the key partners. Uh, then you have key activities, then you have key resources, what is the value proposition which you're offering, what kind of consumer relationships you will have, what kind of channel of sales or distribution you will have, what kind of customer segments you will have, and what will be your cost structure and revenue stream. So for any business to succeed, you should have a very clear business model canvas in place. A lot of times, majority of the startups which fail are the ones which are not able to plan their business model canvas, or essentially fill their business model canvas honestly, right? There may be, of course, a lot of other externalities, but this is one basic document, I would say, which every person who wants to start up should fill, because 90% of your ideas will actually, you will realize, are not uh, worth pursuing, because you will not be able to fill this thing, because this document requires a lot of thinking. And I will actually demonstrate this by a business model canvas of Amazon, right? It's an old uh, thing. They have developed some new products also since then, but this is the business model canvas of Amazon, right? So for Amazon, who are the key partners? For them, the key partners are the suppliers and manufacturers and the network of sellers. So they're both a marketplace and also a platform, online platform, uh, which does its in-house production also, right? Through Amazon Basics and a lot of other sub in-house brands, right? And then publishers. Essentially, then what are the key activities? So the key activities are merchandising, production, and design. What are the key resources? So they have warehouses, they have Kindle platform, they have web and application development. So they have, as you know, now they even have Fire Stick TV, where they are essentially making the old televisions smart, and they have ventured into a lot of other things also since then. Then what are their value propositions? The value proposition, why do you go to Amazon.com to buy things, right? Because of the price and because of the convenience, right? You get discount and you get things conveniently sitting at your home, right? And what kind of customer relationships? How do they build? Mostly it's self-service and automated services. So you go, you decide on your own. There is no salesman telling you that please buy this or that, of course, right? And you go to the app, you go to the website, you do it yourself, right? And what are the channels? Channel is the mobile app, their own website, right? And they also sell through other retailers, especially in US, in other markets. Then mass market, right? They're not working in niche. They want to sell to the entire world, right? So that's their consumer segment. Then what is their cost structure? So it's the economies of scale, and it is cost driven. So cost driven is very simply that they are able to save more money because they have more money to invest, right? Uh, and that's why by doing warehousing at large scale, by producing at large scale, by having a connectivity at large scale, they are able to build this platform, right? Then the revenue stream. So they have a revenue stream from retail sales, from ebooks, from commission on reseller sales, and you have monthly Prime subscription, and there are various other sources of income now, right? So just going back to this the model again. So any idea you want to pursue, just like this example of Amazon, try to fill your business model canvas, and it will actually give you great confidence when you are going and pitching it to your investors, and investors will essentially ask for these things, right? uh, and then comes the business plan, right? So these are some key aspects in the business plan. The first one is the executive summary, which you will actually write in the end, right? But it is attached as the first, but this is the one thing which you will be writing in the end. You start with your company and your product description. Then you show your in which industry do you are there, uh, who is your customer, and who are your competitors, right? So here I want to tell you that a lot of times we are able to identify our industry, but as young entrepreneurs, especially, this has happened with me also and happens with a lot of us, due to limited knowledge of, and or limited research, I would say, we do not know that who all are our competitors, right? And is our real customer, right? These two elements need to be researched very well uh, uh, before pursuing any opportunity or pursuing any idea, right? Then, what is the partnership strategy? A lot of businesses run on partnership today. So if I give you an example of boat, a lot of direct to customer brands, right? Uh, they have sold their entire, or say majority of the products through one channel only, especially the online channel, or say on Flipkart or on Amazon, and they have built their brand, right? There are a lot of, especially in the electronics segment, a lot of players who have built big businesses only through a partnership strategy. So you have to actually see what kind of product you're creating, what kind of service you're creating, and how you can deliver it. Whether partnership will be a key element in this, right? Once you're done with this analysis, you come to your marketing plan where you tell what is the target market, what is the size of that market, what is happening, what are the opportunities in that market, and how will you advertise and promote your product, right? For different products, uh, it will be different. For different services, it will be different, right? Then comes the operations plan, that how your operations essentially means your internal working of your factory, your supply chain, and all of the things. Then financial, how will the working capital come, and how do you plan to raise capital, and all the financial stuff which goes into what will be the shareholding and different things, right? Then human resources plan, that what kind of people you will hire, what kind of salary structure you will have, what kind of benefits you will offer to your employees, right? Then the international growth plan, which essentially means that this may not be useful if you want to build a business in a specific country or a state. But if you want to take a business global in this age of globalization, you actually plan for
Excuse me, sir. Sir, you're not audible. Sir, your screen got stuck. There is some technical issue. The speaker will be back in 2 minutes. Sorry for the inconvenience.
yes.
Sir,
Okay. Yes. Am I audible?
yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, so I'll repeat this. So essentially, we were on the slide of organization. So there are two types of organizations. One is the profit motive organizations, another is the non-profit motive organizations. So in the profit motive, we have a company, we have a partnership firm, we have a HUF, which is a Hindu undivided family business. We have a LLP, which is a limited liability partnership. It is a new format of partnership. And then we have sole proprietorship, which is essentially the easiest way if you are the sole. So for different kind of activities, you can have these are the modes of incorporation. Essentially, to get the benefits of Startup India scheme, you need to essentially register your business as a company. Then there are non-profits, which are society, trust, or a Section 8 company. So So we'll just revise that what we have covered today. So we started with understanding what is creativity and innovation. Then we developed ideas. We developed our ideas into opportunities. We put our opportunities and converted them into a business model, the model into a plan, and that business plan became an organization, right? So this is essentially the journey which we took today, and it was I I would say, a brief overview of the things which I tried to give you, and I would be uh, very much interested to learn more about any questions which you might have, right? And these are my contact details in case you want to reach out and write. You can write to me for any guidance, right? So, thank you very much. Uh,
Really
as
informational.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so now we are going to take a few questions from the audience. Uh,
sure.
to begin with, what are the problems faced by entrepreneurs who operate small scale?
See, the problem with entrepreneurs who operate is small scale is uh, you have to you miss out on economies of scale. One, right? And you have to actually understand by what you mean by small scale here, right? In a whether you say that you are based in a place where the opportunity is less or where resources are less, right? If you see a lot of big businesses historically have been built in cities which are already metro cities, and a lot of new startups also you will see are first coming into the metro cities, and what they are trying to do, they're trying to actually create services or marketplace or, by plugging in different gaps which are there, right? So you have to essentially, if you are an essentially you have to decide whether you want to be a mass market organization or you want to be a niche market. So if you are a niche market, say a lot of fashion brands are niche market, right? Very few people in India wear designer clothes, right? But you will see these designer stores in a very specific place in a very specific city. They are catering to a very small number of audience, but they are doing good business, right? So if you say they are also small scale, but that's not small scale, that's niche, right? So you have to actually differentiate between small scale and niche business, and scalability of the business becomes a challenge if you're doing it a very small scale, right? But if your fundamentals of the business, your unit economy, if you are not losing money on every transaction, then any business can be expanded and sustained, right? It is the unit economics you will have to work out. You should not be losing money, or you should not be doing a loss making transaction uh, per se, right? A lot of e-commerce businesses today in our country, due to the large amount of funding they have got, are doing loss making business by calling it customer acquisition, right? As a small business, as a bootstrap business, you cannot afford that.
Yes, sir. And moving on to the next question. Initially, every venture has its originality, but later it is seen that we get influenced by others. So, sir, how to deal with that?
See, originality is good, right? But you will have to see, when you call originality, it is from the entrepreneur's own thing that this is something new, and essentially everything can be copied, right? Now, taking example of this Google Meets, right? You have Zoom also, you have Microsoft Teams also, you have Cisco WebEx also. Essentially, every, and of course, there are a lot of other solutions which are proprietary solutions provided. These are the major players, right? Every platform has its other different features, you would say, right? Uh, so, but then there is some element of differentiation also. So, as you grow, there are few things in the customer experience which you will have to enhance and innovate continuously, right? Otherwise, what will happen? I don't know whether you know about. If I take example of social media, right? Earlier, in early 2000s, there was something called high five, right? Then there, which was very popular. There was MSN Messenger. There was Yahoo Messenger. I don't know whether you people actually those were the popular mediums of communication, right? After that, Orkut came, right? When I was in school, we used to spend time on Orkut, and then Facebook came, right? Now, if you see, very few people are there on Facebook. People have moved into Instagram. Some people don't even use Instagram now, right? The younger generation, I learned there are different apps now, right? Then a lot of people use LinkedIn, especially at a specific age, right? Very few people use LinkedIn in their school, right? Or knew about LinkedIn in their school. But once you come in your college, you hear about LinkedIn and you start using it, and a lot of people, even after graduating or even after working, are not on LinkedIn, right? So see, there are different products offering for different purposes. Originality will take you only to one level. You have to actually decide what kind of problem you are solving, and everything in this world can be copied, right? So the best way to stay ahead is to be innovative and continuously add new features, and that's how you will be ahead in the game. You cannot just be the original and stay there, right? You have to continuously innovate. Innovation can be in the product, it can be in way of distribution, it can be in getting the customer mindset, right? I guess you will remember that Maggie is a very popular example. There was a controversy where some banned particles were found in Maggie packets, and it was banned for some time, right? Uh, but by that time, Maggie was already in customers' mindset, right? Uh, Even during the ban, when it was not producing things, Maggie was continuously doing its marketing campaigns, and it was doing to retain the mindset, its image in the mindset of the or mind of the customer, right? And once the ban got lifted, they came back and they have recaptured the market, right? So they were able to do that because they were always in your mind. So if you're always in the mind of the customer, by your good quality service, and you're continuously upgrading yourself, that is the solution to stay ahead in the game.
Yes, and moving on to the next question, uh, who do you look up to for inspiration or mentorship?
So for me personally, I would say a lot of people, in case of entrepreneurship, if you ask me, I look up to Elon Musk. If you ask in terms of being a good human being. I have a spiritual guru who guides me, who is based in Kanpur, Sri Radharaman Mishra ji, his ashram. He's my spiritual guru. And then as a political leader, if you say, I follow our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, because he has this vision to take India ahead, and I identify with his vision. I may not like all his decisions or ideas, but I identify with his larger vision, which is to take India, which is of India first, and that's how I get my motivation. There are, of course, various other authors, people, but if you ask at a personal level, these are the three people I'll say.
Absolutely, sir. And like the next question is, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you were first starting out?
Of course, I would have done a lot of things differently. So I started out at age of 17. So a lot of things which I am telling you today, I didn't know that time, right? It was only at say 21, 22 that I actually learned a lot of theories or things which I have told you today. And it is a continuous process of learning, right? So, and uh, you cannot learn everything. So, I think don't be harsh on yourself. Uh, Learn with the flow, right? And eventually, when the right time comes, I think you will know how to take care of things. Um, Otherwise, there will be a burnout, right? You need to be content also, within content in the sense that content doesn't mean that you don't do new innovation, not content in that way, but you should have something called peace of mind, right? If you're always in a mode of achievement, I think there will be a burnout. You should always be in a mode of innovation or creativity. You should always be creative innovation. And as I will quote the Prime Minister here, that see, you should always have a mission and not ambition, right? If you will have a mission, you will definitely reach a goal. But if you always have an ambition that I want to do this and that and get this prize, get this award, get this thing, get 30 under 30, get 40 under 40, then you will be running in a rat race, which is not very healthy for long term. You should always have a content mind. You should always be creative, innovative, and that's how you will succeed in long term. That's what I personally believe. Uh, that's my thoughts.
Yes, sir. And moving on to the next question. If the business doesn't work out, how easily should they be able to pick up and move along to the next endeavor?
See, if the business is not working, right, you get a lot of experience in your entrepreneurial journey. And all of you are IIT graduates. You have, at some point, you have responsibility to the country, that you have studied in elite institution, to give back to the country, right? And you should take up a job if it is. See, entrepreneurship is not everyone's cup of tea, to be very honest. It will studying and getting a job is much easier thing to do, especially if you have got into an IIT, right? Getting a job from a lower ranked institution is, of course, a tough thing to do. But if you got into IIT, you will get access to good faculty, good infrastructure, and good networks. So for you getting a job is not very difficult, or for you to pursuing higher studies, going into research is not that difficult as it is for a person who has not been able to get into a very good college, right? Definitely, you should. A lot of things also depend on your circumstances of your family, right? A lot of people don't talk about it, but it is very important, right? If you come from a background where it is your family needs your support, I think you should first work, get some experience, and then come into, see, there is no age of coming into entrepreneurship, right? You can become entrepreneur at 21 or even younger. You can become an entrepreneur at 30. You can become entrepreneur at 40, 50, 60, at whatever age you feel comfortable that you have, because see, savings is also important. And of course, if your family doesn't depend on you, you come from a family which can take its own care, you have a better way to start, right? You're more confident. So I think it is very important that you balance your financial security with your entrepreneurship. And of course, it is very easy to say that you should take risk. Of course, there is risk in everything, right? You should take risk. That is fine. But I would advise you to take it in a balanced way. And your immediate needs are also essential. And you should not burn out yourself. It's a long race, right? So just don't try to become an entrepreneur because it is a fashionable thing to do, right? You should try to become an entrepreneur if you want to solve a problem, you want to create a large scale solution, or you want to create a large scale service which will essentially help the people. And only if it is helping the people, it is creating value for the people, only then you will make money, right? Otherwise, you will not make money also.
Yeah, sir. And moving on to the last question, what would be your message to the students who are interested in pursuing a career in the development sector?
So my message to the students who want to pursue a career in the development sector will be that this sector needs a lot of professionally qualified people who are technically sound, and there is a lot to be done in this country. A lot of non-profit organizations have uh, uh, been working in our country for last 7 or 8 decades, and even before that, those organizations have been able to not scale their impact. Very few organizations have been able to scale the impact because they have been founder driven. Now the time has come for the social order development sector in this country to be driven by professionals. There are few institutes which have already started programs also for the social sector. There is Indian School of Public Policy. There is Indian School of Development Management. There are various other universities also which have introduced similar programs. These programs are equipping people with skills which are required to be successful in the development sector. There is essential difference in the corporate sector and then the development sector. In the corporate sector, the motive is pure profit. In the development sector, the motive is not profit. The motive is helping different people to actually access their rights. The government is actually bringing a lot of schemes which people are not able to access because they're not literate or they're not aware, or there is some or the other hassle in their papers, right? So, if the development sector partners with the government rather than opposing the government in everything, and enable the citizens to access their rightful dues, I think they will be able to impact and scale the impact. A good example of this is Akshay Patra Foundation, which has partnered with the government, running its kitchens very professionally and delivering food as part of government's midday meal program. Right? There are other examples also. Some at state level, some at multiple state level. But now the development sector also needs to look at the pan India level, how they can scale. And of course, when you scale, then the problem of context and a lot of things come, right. It will be an ongoing debate. If I go into this, there will be one point, then there will be the opposing point. But in short, I will say that if you have empathy for people, if you have I would say a urge from within that you want to bring change to this country, by all means come into development sector and professionalize it with empathy, with love, with care. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. And that's the end of the question and session. So,
Thank you.
thank you, sir, for joining us and sharing such information with us. I hope everyone enjoyed the session. And thank you, sir. And thank you, audience, for joining.
Thank you.